What's going on? Back plugged in again. With your boy the Prophet. Hey yo, man. So today, first of all, hopefully everybody's having a great day. Make sure if you guys haven't subscribed yet, you subscribe and hit that bell notification. We got so much Bleach content coming. Bleach lives on this channel. As well. I do have a second channel for hoops content if you want to see that. But we ain't talking about that today, alright? Today what we're going to be talking about is the man, the myth, the legend, the pride of the Gote 13, Byakuya Kuchiki. So we're going to be going over Byakuya's pretty much his character analysis. Him as a character, some of his battles, his progression, and then ultimately, like, I'm gonna ask you guys, how strong do you think he is by the end of the series? I will give you a spoiler warning once or twice, just because we are gonna be talking about some definitely a lot of manga related stuff, simply because like we've all seen the anime, like we all pretty much know how that goes, and if you didn't, go watch the anime and then bam, like, you know what I'm saying, okay. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about Byakuya Kuchiki today. So when he first came to Bleach, he was the first captain ever shown. In the manga panels, he appeared in chapter 51, and it was episode 15 was his first appearance. Now, when he actually appeared first, he didn't have a captain's Hayori. And a lot of people kind of speculate that this was before Kubo knew about, before he knew that he was going to do the 13 court guard squads, or before he knew like other things. It was never stated that Byakuya was a captain at this point. So I don't know. Either he could have just been not wearing his captain Hayori, or he could have been just maybe not a captain yet. I don't know. We're not for sure. But obviously next time you see him, he is a captain. So, Byakuya Kuchiki is the 28th head of the Kuchiki Great Noble Clan, one of the 4 Great Noble Clans of the Bleach verse. Now, there are lots and lots of other noble clans, but none of them are as noble as the 4 great noble clans. The 4 great noble clans are noble because of what they did, what their ancestor did back in the before 4 time, before the worlds were merged. The 4 great noble clans, along with the Soul Society, along with the Soul King, were the ones that kind of put the system in place of Shinigami, and killing hollows to keep the balance. But of course the hollows came first, so first they had to defend themselves. But yeah, so this scarf that he actually has, okay, so 2 things. So about his design, this scarf that he wears, it is actually woven from this massively ridiculously expensive scarf, silk, excuse me. This scarf that he has is worth the price of 10 mansions in Soul Society, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then he of course has his intricate headpieces, which are called Kinseikan. So yeah, and those, as well as the scarf and the Kinseikan, are passed down to the head of the Kuchiki house. And yeah, that's of course what he is. So Byakuya as a character, he has massive amounts of pride, and he was always taught from a young age. He trained from a very young age, but when he became a man, he was obviously still ahead of the Kuchiki clan. He actually ended up doing several things, going against the code or breaking the rules. The first main thing he did was he married a commoner, someone from the Rukon district, and that ended up being Rukia's sister. So Rukia's sister's name is Hisana Kuchiki after she was married, and yeah, so he basically married her, and that was like super taboo. Like you're not supposed to, like if you're of nobility, then you're supposed to marry into nobility. Like, you know, he married a commoner. Like that was hella taboo. So, you know, for him actually doing that, you know, it was very frowned upon. And you know, he got reprimanded a little bit, but he didn't really care. He ended up doing it anyway. 5 years after they were married, she ends up dying, and then uh she makes him promise to go find her sister and adopt her into the Kuchiki family, because Hisana abandoned her. So he ends up finding Rukia and then takes Rukia into the Kuchiki family, and that once again was a taboo. So after he did that, he promised never to break a rule again and to always be like that shining example. But then, you know, once Rukia is getting like executed, and you know, it's like, you know, he has to choose between his duty, which he said he would never break any rules, and then this promise that he made to his wife, and basically a promise he made to himself, and he never likes breaking promises anyway. So that just tells you about his character. We'll just go ahead and get into his actual abilities and his Zanpakuto. His Shikai is Zenbone Sakura. We all know what this does. 1,000 cherry blossoms. His sword, you know, it disintegrates and just turns into these cherry blossoms that just go forth and attack the enemy. He can control them at his will, really. He can, you know, like I said, use his hands to control it if he needs to. There is one key thing. His Shikai does have one weakness, and that it can be stopped by stopping the release of the sword. So if you can stop him from releasing his sword, then you can actually cancel his Shikai release. I mean, obviously, like, you know, I mean, I don't know if you could really battle him like that, because he could use Keto. He can use Keto up to the 80s level without an incantation, from what we've been seeing. Him using Danku against Zomari. And but as far as battle techniques, he just generally sticks with like Sokatsui, Byakuya, Shakaho, you know, just those kind of main things. Nothing, he doesn't really stray from like those kind of lower tier Hado or Keto very often, at least, but he is capable of using 80s levels. So his Bankai is Zenbone Sakura Kageyoshi. This is just a standard release form of Zenbone Sakura. You know, we all know these columns of swords just come out of the ground, and he can freely manipulate them. It definitely multiplied the number of his flower petals. He doesn't have to use his hands to control them either. He can also he can just sit there like this, folded Indian style, like a G. You know what I mean? And he can just be, you know, controlling them. But it definitely does make it faster if he controls them himself. So yeah. So his techniques. We have, well, this is the release of his Zenbone Sakura as well. At this point, he just has a bit more control from what we understand. This, you know, like I said, that's just a regular Zenbone Sakura, him just freely manipulating it. He also has Goke, which back in the day, this was, from what I understand, his most potent offensive move. Well, not his most potent offensive move, but one of his strongest moves without having to resort to Senkei. Which, when he goes to Senkei, he literally says that he's abandoning all defense. So he can't just freely manipulate the sword to like make a wall of protection around him like he could before. He doesn't have that ability when he goes to Senkei. But, you know, using Goke, he can concentrate the flower petals, swirl them into a ball, and then crush it on top of the enemy, and it does create a pretty cataclysmic explosion. So yeah, man, like I said, like in the earlier parts of the series, it was pretty clear to tell that he didn't just like using Senkei. He's not going to just use Senkei on anybody. And the last form that we saw of Senkei up to the earlier parts is Shukihaku Tekken. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit more for this particular image. But yeah, Shukihaku Tekken, this form, he actually grows wings. Very crazy form. He like I said, he doesn't like using Senkei a whole lot because he has to abandon his defense. If he's using Shikahaku Tekken, then like he literally doesn't think he has like any other option or any other resort. He's already went to Goke. He's already done everything he's going to do basically up to that point, with his abilities. Now later on in the series, spoiler alert, later on in the series, he does unlock his strongest move, and I think him having Ikasenjenka, I think that is massively raises his attack potency, because before Ikasenjenka, if he was going against somebody really big or somebody that could just block his projectiles, there's really nothing he could do beside like just manipulate so he could trap him. Well, with Ikasenjenka, he can literally focus all of the blades onto one target. So right here, it was big enough to blow up Gerard's head, but it wasn't like, I mean, maybe he could have like filed them down to like just destroy his body, like row after row after row, just like peeling his body down or whatever. Like he could have, I don't know, but he focused on his head on this particular point in the anime. And yeah, so that was pretty much it. Also, Byakuya actually smacked up on Gerard a few times as well, being that he fought Gerard before he fought Gerard before he even before he turned big, excuse me. He fought Gerard before Gerard got to his massive size. Byakuya was actually the one that him and Renji went against Gerard Valkyrie, and they pretty much beat his ass. And Gerard literally said from his own words, like, and at this very time, like, it's going to require a miracle for me to beat you. And he just goes to monologue because that's just what he does, talking about the miracle. But yeah, Byakuya, a combination of Byakuya and Renji were strong enough to just smack this dude up, like I said, threw flower petals through his head and decapitated him right here. Head goes flying off. And then Momo and Renji were like, okay, Captain, like, damn, like, that was a bit excessive. Then he walks up, drops some more, you feel me, shitstorm on him. And after this is when Gerard went to his god size as a direct result of taking this much damage. So also there was one point in the manga as well where Byakuya he basically off-screened 3 Sternritter. And those 3 Sternritter were Robert Acratron, Nana Nananjakoop, and then Candace Catnip. There's a bit of debate about this. Lil Toto and the Mininas were still alive, or they were still standing after this. None of these people died from Byakuya's attack right here. He just put him to the ground. There was a comment from Lil Toto and Mininas saying, like, it's no surprise we're the only 2 remaining after such an attack. But like, since it was off panel, like, they could have just been farther out. Like, and Candace probably blitzed Byakuya. She was way closer. Robert, it's like none of these people died. No one suffered fatal injuries here. So it's like, it's hard to tell what happened. It's not to say like Robert, Nanana, and Candace are weaker than Lil Toto and Mininas. Like, you can't tell that from what I understand. So yeah, he off paneled them, and then, like I said, at the end of the conclusion of the arc, okay, so basically Toshiro and Byakuya was one of the first captains there to fight Gerard. And then Toshiro came in. Byakuya kept remarking, like, Toshiro isn't strong enough to fight Gerard, da-da-da-da-da. And then Tosh telling Byakuya, like, you can't fight him in a 1v1. So then Byakuya accepts Toshiro's help. Then Kenpachi comes in once Toshiro gets banged up a bit. Byakuya and Tosh sit there and watch, as Kenpachi is fighting. And then basically Tosh jumps in. He's like, listen, man, Kenpachi has his eye patch off. He's fighting at his max strength, and like, he can't really take this guy. So then at that time, Toshiro then starts helping fight Gerard with Kenpachi. Kenpachi goes Bankai. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Then Toshiro tells Byakuya he's going to try and freeze Gerard, and then he's going to create an opening. Once he sees that opening, go ahead and strike with a lethal blow. So basically, then Toshiro goes to the adult form. Then he goes to the adult form. He creates the opening via the Shikai Hyoketsu, which that's right here, for a world freeze. Then he freezes Gerard, creating the opening for Byakuya to go ahead, Senkei Zenbon Sakura Ogi Ika Senjinka. Boom, blew his head off. And then bam, that was basically one of the most decisive blows to Gerard Valkyrie, in the battle. Like I said, I'm not gonna I don't have to cover like specific things like what happened after that, but this was definitely a pivotal moment in the battle. I really feel like Ika Senjinka massively raises Byakuya's attack potency. On top of that, he can use 80s level incantations, 80s level Kido and Hado without incantation. Making him very overall very strong and very fast as well. Super versatile. One of the most versatile captains. I would actually argue that towards the end of the series, he's one of the strongest captains. Like, not saying he's on the level of like some of the crazy people, like he's not gonna be like a Kenpachi kind of level, you know what I mean? But he's still more than respectable, like top 4 or 5 captains of the current Gotei. There's also this scene where he snatches up Ruki and Renji as a fight with Gerard's going on, and he tells him like, yo, go to Kurosaki, he needs your help. And Renji's like he's telling him like, bro, y'all can't do shit to the dude Gerard. He's a monster. He's an animal. I don't even need y'all on the battlefield. Like, go help Kurosaki. He gotta fight Yuhabak. So, Byakuya definitely grows up a lot during the final arc. His character sees a lot of progression in that he doesn't mind accepting help from his other Soul Reapers. He understands he understands that he can't do everything by himself. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of growth for Byakuya, because back then his pride was always so. He was always so fixated with that, with like not wanting to look weak and stuff like that. There's also a moment where, spoiler alert, when Shunsui Kyoraku takes Aizen out of Mukin, and he brings Aizen to the battlefield, basically after some stuff happens with the Soul King and the Mimihage, the world. Basically, Yuhabak starts like dripping this like crazy ooze, and Byakuya at this form, who this is a Byakuya who at this point he had got to a higher level in the Shikai. He had also got to a point where asking, or Asnot literally said, listen, you're to a point now where your Shikai is as strong as your Bankai. And that was really big, because for Asnot, who has actually wielded Zenbone Sakura, at this particular point right here, this is Zenbone Sakura when Asnot has it, and then the transformation when you go from here to Soul Palace Byakuya, this is in Shikai. Asnot literally thinks oh, you're more proficient with your Bankai. He's like, nah, baby, this is Shikai. At this point, he honed his prowess with Zenbone Sakura to the point where he's able to literally, he basically, from what I understand, Byakuya got a bare base Byakuya got a bare bones 5 times multiplier from training with the Soul Palace. And that's basically stated because if Asnot, who wielded Zenbone Sakura Kageyoshi, if he thinks that his Shikai is at the same level of his Bankai when he wielded it, no one else really knows. Directly hand to hand, you know what I mean? So Bankai is a flat 5 to 10 times multiplier. So bare bones, Byakuya got 5 times stronger in base. Not to mention when he actually goes Bankai, the massive additional addition to the flower petals, his control. He is able to manipulate the Shikai into shapes. The Shikai is taking shapes. He can make it molded to do specific things. And he couldn't do that before, where it just overflowing, you know, at certain points. He just mastered a certain finesse, you know, a higher level of finesse and control with Zenbone Saga to Kageyoshi. So at the end of the day, man, his character grows a lot coming toward the final arc, and like I said, I I don't think he's not stronger than the Kenpachi as far as raw prowess. Um, I think the closest captain in the final arc to Byakuya, I think between Byakuya and Adult Tosh, it's like so close. Like, I think Mayuri with preparation could probably beat Byakuya, like, just because you just never know what he's gonna do. I mean, I can't see maybe Mayuri like makes a bubble or some shit, like boop, he just sitting in a bubble, like, while I'm in this bubble, like, I don't know, bro. Mayuri could just do some shit, but raw power Byakuya should slap Mayuri. Same with Adult Tosh, they should slap Mayuri. But if Mayuri has these contingencies, I think with the proper plan, Mayuri could beat Kenpachi. But as far as raw power, there's no way Mayuri can't stop Kenpachi. I don't even know if he can stop his Shikai, let alone his Bankai. You can't parry a Kenpachi Bankai swing. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. But so make sure you guys weigh in the comment section. Let me know where you think Byakuya stacks up at the end of the series. Like I said, 80s level Hado, without an incantation before the 1000 blower arc. So maybe he's capable of higher levels of Kido if he practiced on that. We don't really know. But I'll go ahead and end the video here, man. I really do appreciate you guys. Make sure to support the channel with a like, a share, and a subscribe if you enjoy the content. Bleach lives here. And let me know, guys. I'm thinking about live streaming and reading off several, like, chronologically starting from the beginning, and like reading off Bleach manga chapters like in a live stream, talking about it with you guys, and maybe like reviewing them, as we wait till the 1000 blower gets animated. And then once the episodes come out, I'm going to review everything. We can like compare the differences. I'm probably going to do like watch parties in Discord, when actual anime episodes drop. So stay tuned, man. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Prophet Nation, to the next video. Man, what video do you guys want to see next? What Bleach discussion video? Who do you want to see next? Prophet Nation, I love y'all though, but I'm out.